Hi, it's Saturday morning and my little baby is fast asleep in the pram, and I'm just taking a moment to sit down and to share some more thoughts. I was speaking with a friend last night who's 35, fabulous, split up with her boyfriend of several years, about a year ago, coming up to a year ago, and we had a conversation maybe 6 months ago, and I explained how I tried for 6 years using my older eggs, fresh eggs, and didn't succeed getting pregnant despite everything being off the charts for my fertility, including the number of eggs, even the number of eggs that got fertilized. I can explain all the technical details in another video. And it turned out I had less than 1% per egg getting pregnant. I only got pregnant when I used my last resort eggs, which I'd frozen, and I'd always thought that would be for a second or third child. And I'd frozen those eggs at age 39 and a half, and thank God the first time I got pregnant, but the chance per egg was 1.5%, and I'd been playing with chances of less than 1% per egg when I've been using my 43.5-year-old eggs. And this woman looks fantastic, full of energy, not unlike me, lots of energy, and a lot of it goes into her work, but she's still glowing and bouncing around at the weekend and going out and a positive person and blah 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 blah. So I think when you're like that, it's an invitation for magical thinking, although sometimes magic happens. Anyway, I said to her, have you frozen your eggs? Because I explained to her that it's not such a big deal, and she hadn't. And I understand why she hadn't. Well, she's a different person, but I understand. I believe I can see, we'll have to talk more, what's blocking her, because I could have frozen my eggs earlier than 39 and a half. I could have embarked on the journey to solo motherhood earlier, and I didn't. And that phenomenon is from speaking to other women who are younger, because I could tell everybody, like complete strangers, freeze your eggs, check out your fertility now, don't wait, don't make the mistake I did. But it's kind of like, look, it's like the nexus of biological facts, heavy emotional stuff for a lot of us. I don't know if all of us, but a lot of us. I mean, I see on the solo mother groups, so women who, actually they say they're virgins, but for all I know they're like virgins because they're lesbian. I don't know, but I mean the heavy emotional stuff that I'm familiar with from my own perspective, and this other woman that I was speaking to yesterday also has, comes from this thing of expecting to get married and have kids. and then so that it's kind of where like biology hits heavy emotional wounds, baggage, shame, you name it. I'm sure it's different for every person. And it also hits just fears of medical procedures. I was speaking to a friend of the family a year ago on my little mission to tell women to freeze their eggs, and I think she's like coming up to 30. Know that her mother is a brilliant mother, but found motherhood a lot easier when the children were grown up than when they were babies, and I think had a very hard time with babies. So her daughter just says she doesn't have maternal instinct, but she sort of said she knows that her mother wanted to be a mother only a lot later, but I know that her mother found the motherhood hard. I'm just mentioning this because there are so many experiences of motherhood and so many things that affect us and our attitudes to it. And if we were living in a society where it's very automatic to get married and have kids, then we would sort of be pushed into this lane where we sort of hopefully work things out if we have self-awareness. But when you have all of that stuff, plus all these really misleading societal messages and expectations, and then on top of that you have all the crap that comes that if you didn't, your first, committed relationship when you were in your 20s or something didn't work out, or you didn't even realize the gold that you had there, which is also a thing, and that's where you have weird ideas from society and maybe a lack of pushing actually to get married in a way, or a lack of healthy role models to get married, which scares the hell out of you, of commitments. There's all kinds of things can go on. So, so she's now approaching 30, and I'm just saying to her, look, freezing eggs is the kind of thing where it's better you do it sooner rather than later. And she gets it. She totally gets it. And it's not that, freezing eggs is also not that bad physically. It's not brilliant, but believe me, it's better than going through unsuccessful IVF afterwards. Of course, you could have unsuccessful IVF afterwards with frozen eggs. And a whole other topic, which is a very sensitive topic, is that freezing embryos is, they're more likely to survive than eggs from the thawing. Let's leave that all of aside. She acknowledges, realizes, in her head, she understands the logic. But for her, it's fear of injections. And, when we have fears, so this is the pram handle you can see here. When we have fears, they can be fears which are, one of the people that I really admire and follow is Michael A. Singer, and I think, I'm not sure if I'm quoting him directly, it says fear is just an energy in the universe. It doesn't mean anything, but these fears can just take hold of us. And so for her, the fear that she's aware of in her consciousness anyway is the fear of needles. So I'm hoping that in these videos I'm going to become working through all of the fears and kind of presenting it with the rational side. But the bottom line for everything I'm going to say is that preserving fertility is always better to do sooner rather than later. Unless, I don't know, you've got some terrible health issue which is, impacting your fertility by 50%. And if you wait 2 years to solve that health issue, and you're not that old, but basically do it sooner rather than later. Okay, I think that's all for now, and I'll see you in the next video.